And welcome back to class, everybody. Today is Monday, November the 2nd. It is a gorgeous fall day outside, but I'm inside recording this video screencast for you. And once I'm finished, maybe I'll go outside and play in the leaves. Today we are in class session 11, and I want to cover what we'll be going over and what you have to do for this week. I don't think it's too big of a workload for week 11. In fact, we are finishing up our third essay and getting ready to work on the fourth and final one, and then the class will be concluded. So let's jump into session 11 and take a look at what is there. In this session, of course, we'll be finishing up writing project 3 and taking a peek at the last and final writing project 4. So for this week, of course, you're finishing up writing project 3, as I just said, conducting peer response feedback. Many of you have already completed this. Taking a look at chapter 11 under understanding argument. Taking a sneak peek at writing project 4, no big surprise, it will be largely based on what you worked with on writing project 3. There is a PowerPoint on an argument essay, because writing project 4 is an argument essay, and a supplemental resource on thesis statements, which you will also be writing about. Now, as I've made clear in other lectures that I've given to you, writing project 3 is designed to be as neutral as possible, not taking a stand on the issue you were writing about. But in writing project 4, you absolutely are going to be taking a stand because it is a persuasive paper. We have a new discussion board to work on, which we will begin this week and finish up next on thesis statements, and you'll be turning in your final draft of writing project 3. So let's go into learning activities. There's a couple of important pieces there. Here are the instructions for writing project 3. If you got your draft turned in, of course you covered steps 1 through 6. So before you submit your final, we're going to take a look at steps 7 through 10, and there is one change that I will make in this video lecture. So please make sure you pay attention. I know you are. So these are the steps we've already covered. And as it says in session 10 last week, we conducted peer response. I hope you found the peer response helpful, that it made your draft stronger. Notice in step 8, it says, along with your final draft, you will submit a cover letter explaining the feedback you received from the other students in the class and from me. Much as I have done in other sessions, I am going to make submitting a cover letter voluntary. You do not have to do that because I've read all your drafts, and when I read the final version, I can figure out what sort of guidance you've gotten from me and from the other people in the class. So this is redundant. If you still want to do it for practice or any other reason, go ahead, but it is not necessary. Of course, I want you to spend most of this week making changes to your draft, developing your voice, strengthening your tone, and making your essay as effective as possible. But what I am saying is you don't have to put those changes in the cover letter. Last and certainly not least, make sure that your grammar, your spelling, and your MLA format are as concise as possible. Make sure you're running spell and grammar check, which for most laptops and PCs is F7. I've heard from a couple of you that say my F7 key doesn't do that. Okay, fair enough, but there still is a spelling grammar check somewhere on your machine. Make sure you're using that. And as you've done with the other assignments that we have had in this class, you're going to turn it into 2 places, and of course we'll cover where those will be going. And also last week I put out an announcement, I hope you saw it, about some common mistakes. I'm not saying that you individually make these, I'm just saying that these are ones that I commonly see. And so I hope you have a chance to look over these. Probably the most common mistake I see is that students are starting a sentence with a quote, which in MLA formatting is not acceptable. You must always introduce your quotes before you get into the quotation. So I won't go over this entire thing. I know you've probably read it. In my last video, I also talked about the use of things like citation machine. Those are acceptable to use, and I hope you find those helpful. So let's go back into the class session, see what else remains. I think we left off on learning activities, although we may have covered all those. I want to take another peek. There are the instructions. We've already looked at those. The writing project 3 peer response feedback. I'm not going to open this up because I think everyone that turned in a draft has been in there. Of course, here is your textbook, and you only need to concern yourself with one chapter this time, and that is understanding argument. This is to prepare you for writing project 4. And here are the instructions for writing project 4. I won't go through all of these, but I do want to at least touch on a couple of things that are in here. It's not important right now that you begin thinking about what you're going to write for writing project 4. I would rather you spend your time refining and making writing project 3 as effective as possible, but we'll go ahead and take a quick peek as well. Won't be surprising to you that this is the longest writing project that we'll have in the class. And as it states in instructions 1 through 6, for writing project 4, you're writing about the same controversy, problem, or issue that you wrote about for writing project 3. It's too late to pick a new subject, but this time you're going to take a different stand. You're going to propose how to solve a problem, assert a position, to inquire more deeply into the controversy, or to prevail, meaning to argue and win people to your particular viewpoint. The audience for writing project 4 is going to be of the stakeholders of that issue. Who has a stake in the issue? Who can benefit from hearing your argument? Who needs to be made more aware? And who is impacted by the problem or issue that you are writing about? Again, as I always say, print this out and keep it close by so when it is time to begin drafting, you've got the instructions before you. Writing project 4 will be 1,250 words for your draft and 1,500 words for your final. And importantly, you're going to set up your thesis statement for writing project 4, and we will cover thesis statements in this session, session 11. I don't want to get too far in this, so I'm going to end that little exploration right now. Next week, we will cover that in more detail. Here's a PowerPoint on be an attorney, in other words, someone who attempts to sway. I will not open this up. There's the transcript and also the PowerPoint itself. I think this is pretty well done, so please take a look at that. And one supplemental resource on thesis statements. If you've not done one before, or you think yours could benefit from a little extra instruction, take a look at that. Let's go into the assignments and assessments. Because I want you spending as much time as possible working on strengthening writing project 3, there aren't as many. Starting this week and continuing on to next, our next discussion board is thesis statement workshops. So for this week, you need to post your original thread, and next week we will have you respond to one another about thesis statements. So this is referring to writing project 3, and it asks you first to paste in at the start of your post your informative essay thesis statement. If you have trouble identifying it or it wasn't to the degree that you would like, you can also summarize in 1 or 2 sentences the intended message of your main idea. Once you've done that, you're going to include 4 possible thesis statements for your argument and provide 1 thesis statement of each type: a claim or definition, a claim about cause and effect, a claim about value, and a claim about solutions or policies. And here is a list of questions that you can consider. Again, your post should be about 200 words for this week, session 11. So you're only writing for yourself. Next week, in session 12, we will do replies. When you are ready to turn in writing project 3, of course, as we've done before, you will turn it in 2 places. This one comes directly to me, so I can assign a grade to it. And this one goes to turnitin.com for originality checking. I will probably get all of these read and grades assigned within a week to 8 or 9 days time. Of course, these are due on Sunday night. This is Writing Project 3 I'm referring to, Sunday, November the 8th. I will probably not look at any of them that night. I will start reading them on the 9th. So you could expect a grade or feedback from me by about Wednesday, November the 11th, thereabouts. And that may have covered everything that we have for this session. I simply want to take one more quick look around. And that does appear to be it. As always, text me 812-498-4200. I welcome your messages at any time. You can email me at mstenger, that's M-S-T-E-N-G-E-R, and the number 1 at ivytech.edu. Or you can call me at 800-416-1747. Don't be shy. If you need to talk to me on the phone, I welcome your call. Reach out to me with questions, everyone. Hope everyone has a great week. Enjoy the glorious weather. Take care.